Testing. This is my first time using my new camera and little mic, so let me know how this goes. It is the most beautiful day outside. Yeah, it says that it's cloudy, but it sure looks blue skies to me. Anyway, I realized that I haven't done a Q&A in quite a while, and I've been getting a lot of DMs of things that I've kind of answered before, but I figured I could do an update, and so I asked you guys on Instagram for some questions, and we're gonna just kind of spend the day. I'm gonna bop to different locations, but kind of chat, give you the lowdown. A lot of these were similar. If I don't directly quote your question, I transcribed them into my notes app. And I broke them up into sections. So if you want to skip around, I will probably put links or timestamps or whatever in the description box. Yes, I'm on my second cup of coffee today. This is decaf. Yeah, and now I'm at Fritz, and Fritz is a chain. A lot of coffee shops use Fritz beans. Their coffee's really good. I'm not really a coffee connoisseur, but they are a wonderful mix of, did the music just get so much louder? They're a wonderful mix of really great coffee, really great pastries as well. They just started donuts, which is new. Korea's on a real donut kick right now. Anyway, to the questions. Welcome, filming this on my new camera. Let me know. I've got the wide lens on. Tell me what you prefer. The most common question, honestly, was simply like asking for a little self-introduction. What is my lore? How did I come to Korea? Why did I come to Korea? Why did I stay in Korea? So back when I was in high school, from 2006 to 2010 is when I was in high school, which is insane. I definitely was into K-pop. I think that makes me second gen. Dongbang Shinki was my first group, and then like Super Junior, Big Bang. The first group I ever waited to debut was SHINee. I remember it very distinctly. Once I went to college, I was kind of doing other things. I wasn't really interested in K-pop anymore. But my junior year, I knew I was going to be studying abroad, and I have a whole video on my study abroad experience. It was amazing. CIEE, I studied at Yonsei for a year. Fantastic. But as I was deciding where I wanted to go, I knew I wanted to go somewhere that I didn't just want to travel there. I didn't want to go somewhere that was quote unquote safe, like a place I already knew, or I had also just rediscovered K-pop through a YouTube channel called Eat Your Kimchi. I was like, wait, I love this language. I love studying it. Let me go. See, like this is my one chance to like really experience Korea. So I studied in Korea for a year, loved it. First semester, I was lucky enough to have an internship with YG Entertainment, which just was a fever dream. And then the second semester, I was comfortable enough here to really explore it. So I do really recommend, if you can, try studying here for an entire year, because I felt like the whole first semester went by so fast, and it wasn't until second semester I really got my feet on the ground and had the confidence to explore. Like, we went everywhere, and yeah, it was the best time of my life for sure. And so I loved it so much that when I was looking for jobs after graduation, or before I was graduating, I found a marketing job here and I came back. So that is how I'm here. I worked for a startup. I worked in marketing for 5 years. Yeah, that experience was really good until it really wasn't. I will talk more about my work in another section, but everyone has a working in Korea horror story, and I definitely do. So I have a whole separate video on that as well if you're interested. And I'm still here. I'm married, and we'll talk about moving to the US in a later section, but that's basically my lore, how I got here. To make the long story short, it's Kim Dae-jung's fault. So, and I'm so happy about that. Okay, and then I really liked this question because I have just passed my 10 years in Korea. That's so scary. So I moved here in June or July, like directly after college graduation of 2014. So I have been here, it's about to be 11 years. Isn't that no, it's difficult to fathom. But the question is, how has Korea changed since you moved here? And I think if you have even lived here for a year, you know how fast Korea changes. To give you, I was thinking about it on the bus ride here, like what I was going to talk about, just to give you a quick idea of how fast it changed. If you've ever been to Korea, if you've ever marked cafes that you want to go to on a map, etc., you know the neighborhood of Yeonnam near Hongdae Exit 3. Perhaps that whole like Yeontrul Park, I've shown you so many times. It feels to me almost like an old neighborhood now. Like, I've been there so many times. I don't know, I can't believe that when I was a student here, that did not exist. It was under construction, that entire park. There's a little bridge where you can walk to Hongdae. I don't know how to describe it, but there's a little bridge, and it goes over the now Yeontrol Park, or the Gyeonggi Jungan Park, I guess. That was just weeds. Like, you couldn't walk there. It was just overgrown weeds. And now it's like the trendiest area. It's where I went to walk for the cherry blossoms. And now I can't imagine spring, or I can't even imagine Hongdae without that, you know? So that's just a very clear example of how much it's changed. I also think that I love that I'm able to use Korean more because people aren't scared of me. I think you still definitely run into it, absolutely, but especially in Seoul, people understand that foreigners can speak Korean. I'm so thankful to all of the foreigners who are on TV shows, or they have YouTube channels or anything where they are speaking Korean fluently, because I think that's made such a huge difference, where I used to walk into a cafe and I could see fear on a barista's face because she was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to speak English, or like, we're gonna have trouble communicating because she's a foreigner. Even if I walked in and I said hello in Korean and didn't seem nervous, I always felt a little bit like I was a burden, just like by existing. Even if I could speak Korean, I just made people uncomfortable, and I don't feel that anymore. And I think, obviously part of it is because I've lived here for so long, but a huge part of it is that people are just so ready for you to be able to speak Korean. And even if you don't, I feel like people are less scared of bumbling to communicate. I'm trying to think of other things. Yeah, just like the amount of people who travel here, like the foreigners who used to be here used to be students, really. Like, you were either a student or you were working here. And now tourism has just exploded. I was in Korea before BTS. That's like my one big flex. Like, if I'm ever gonna flex anything, I saw BTS perform their debut stage. Yeah, I think for the most, I would say every change I can think of has been a positive one, actually. I think so. I might have a different opinion if I was still a student. I wonder what, especially like young girls experience. I know that Hongdae was always like a kind of fuckboy central issue. When I was a student, I wonder if it's gotten better or worse. I assume it's gotten worse. So I don't want to say that like Korea is just getting better and better. But yeah, I've seen so many positive changes, a lot more openness, a lot less fear. Yeah, it's just a place that moves so fast, and I'm thankful that I've been here for this long. My final question before we move to our next destination is, would you recommend Seoul as a tourist destination? And yes, but it kind of depends on what travel you're interested in. This is the one country other than the United States that I've never been a tourist in. My first experience in Korea was a year long. I lived here for a year as a student. So when I try to think about what would I do with a short amount of time, it's kind of overwhelming. Seoul is a city that you should definitely research because it's so huge that if you stumble into one neighborhood and you just kind of get trapped there, you have seen nothing. Yeah, I think that Seoul is a really amazing place to visit, but it's definitely one that you need to like plan your days. And it doesn't have to be crazy, but just like set aside one day per neighborhood or something like that. Like, have a way to tackle the giant city that Seoul is. I love it very much. I am biased about that. But all right, I'm gonna finish my coffee, and then I think we're gonna head to Cheongdeokgung because I got tickets to see the Secret Garden, which you have to book ahead of time. Speaking of being a tourist, book your tickets ahead of time for the Secret Garden, the back garden of Cheongdeokgung. Stunning, as you will see, and it's a beautiful day to just walk around. That's where we're gonna head, and then I will chat with you in a bit. So I really hope that this microphone worked. If it didn't, I'm so sorry. Let's head to our next destination. Azalea season in Korea is unreal. It honestly makes me uncomfortable how bright they are. I don't know how it shows up on camera. They are alarmingly saturated, but I love them. If I stand in the sun, is it better? I don't think so. Okay. Hi, guys. It's gonna be shady. It's just what it's gonna be. Welcome to Cheongdeokgung, my personal favorite palace, even though I realized I haven't been to Gyeongbokgung in maybe a million years. Like I just said a couple seconds ago, the amount of people visiting Korea has skyrocketed, and it's so exciting, and the languages that I can hear and the people dressed in hanbok and everything, it's just really cool to see. Let's just finish up my life in Korea questions. How about that? Okay, this is really bothering me. The one that was honestly the most common question asked was about moving to the US. So I've talked about it before. If you're not new, you know. Eventually we plan on moving to the US for a plethora of reasons, a lot having to do with like family, community. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel kind of drawn to going home. And yeah, that's still definitely a possibility. I know I keep saying this. I've said this to my parents for literally 10 years that I'm like, oh, you know, maybe next year, maybe next year. We're thinking about it much more seriously now, I think. For me, I'm kind of happy to go anywhere. Like I'd be happy to live anywhere. But I think Kurt specifically for his work, and also really for my work, I think it would really benefit us. Both of our fields being in the US is a really great thing. We both really want to go. I think originally Kurt wanted to move more than I did, and now I'm feeling really comfortable with leaving. Like obviously I will be sad and I will have emotional breakdowns. Actually, Adrian, my friend who lives in Busan, who's an actual angel, she is making the jump to move to America, and she is kind of vlogging that whole experience, and it's been so helpful to see because she is just very genuine and transparent with her emotions. And so why am I gonna cry? And so she just talks about how hard it is. Like she loves Korea, but she wants to be in the US right now, and I feel exactly the same way. And so seeing her go through it and document it has helped me like more than she can ever understand. So if you are thinking of moving back to the US, definitely check out Adrienne. I'll link her down below. But yeah, it's so difficult. Like I feel like I'm on the verge of tears just trying to talk about it because I love Korea so much. It's the only place I've been an adult. You know, like I moved here right after college. So I'm terrified of moving to the US for so many reasons, but I don't know, we both feel like it's kind of the right move, and this won't happen for years because we're going to get Kurt his green card, which we did previously, and that took a million years, and then they changed the entire system. So now it's going to take even longer. Thank you. So again, like that, it's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen next year, but we're thinking about it much more seriously. Where will we move? We have no idea. How will we move? We have no idea. That's just, it's such a huge thing. And a lot of questions about like, am I scared of moving back to the US? I'm not scared for myself. I'm nervous for Kurt, especially him being on a green card. I mean, it wouldn't even matter at this point. Like we're deporting US citizens and it's insane. But I'm hoping by the time that we move, things will be looking more positive. But you know, even in America's best circumstances, it would still be something that I'm worried about. But I don't think any place is perfect. I'd rather be there, like with my family and with my friends, and also like boots on the ground. Like I feel so helpless just sharing like GoFundMes and voting from abroad. Like I would like to be physically there. I would like to use my body and my voice in some way, to help make America a better place. So yeah, super complicated feelings. Has there been a video on this channel where I like haven't almost cried? So yeah, that's long story short. Yeah, we're planning on moving. This one is difficult. Favorite versus least favorite neighborhood in Seoul. I don't think I have a favorite or a least favorite. I love Seocheon. So on the west side of Gyeongbokgung, that is still, feels like a neighborhood, really quiet still. Not too touristy, just a lot of cool little hidden gems. Seocheon, and along the same lines, I think Mangwon has still really kept its neighborhood charm. I'm forgetting so many neighborhoods. Like I love the Uljiro area because it's just a place you can get lost in. I don't even know if like, I can't even say that's a neighborhood because it just feels like a new place every time I go. And I don't necessarily go anywhere, I just wander, and it's a weird kooky little place. I'm actually making a video next weekend about food and like food neighborhoods and stuff like that. And there's so many weird food neighborhoods. Seoul just has lots of weird stuff, and I feel like I'm discovering new things all the time. When one neighborhood gets oversaturated, like Seongsu, for example, it's got no soul. Like Seongsu has no soul. It's just convenient to get to from my home, and it still has some cool cafes, but really it's just like, I'm so sick of the pop-ups. So that might answer your question into least favorite neighborhoods. Just the like shopping heavy neighborhoods, especially with the pop-ups that like, I don't know, it just makes everything feel so temporary and so just like, So like once a cool neighborhood turns into that, a new neighborhood will spring up. And so it's hard to say because Seoul is constantly changing. But yeah, I love my little neighborhood feels. Other neighborhoods I don't even know the names of. That's a good video idea, perhaps, for the future. And then 2 last questions. Can you recommend a short trip from Seoul in June as a tourist destination? I plan on working on a video. I want to make a video that helps you, even if you are terrified. I want you to get out of Seoul. So I'm gonna try and make a video that literally shows every tiny step of the process to get to Suwon, because that is so easy to get to, so walkable, so cute. I love Suwon. So look out for that hopefully this month or next month. Yeah, I think Suwon is a great little day trip. You could do Jeonju in a day trip. You technically could do a lot of things in a day trip. It's just, do you want to? So yeah, I would say Suwon is always your best bet. Or if you want to go to the folk neighborhood in Yongin, that's a good idea as well. Suwon would be my very first one, especially in June. That would be so beautiful. Last question before we go to the back garden is, has it been difficult to build your adult life far from home? I do think there's definitely things I've missed out on, for sure. I feel like because Korea is so convenient, I've missed out on a lot of like hard growing up stuff, especially like when I first moved here. Because I was a foreigner, my office place really helped me do so much. I feel like in the US, sometimes that happens. Like, yeah, you can call your parents and be like, Dad, I don't know how, like, I blew a fuse. I don't know how to do whatever, you know? I also, shout out to Kayla, my best friend, roommate, coworker. She was such a grown up already, and she just like knew shit. So when we did blow a fuse, she knew how to fix that. Like I felt like I was such a child because she took care of me, especially like in an office setting, perhaps like career wise. I think that people my age have probably had like a bit more experience than I have, because like my startup did not believe in promotions and didn't, you know, like negotiations and things like that. I think we all grow in different ways at different times. So I shouldn't really be comparing myself to people, but I do feel like Korea made it so easy that I feel like I almost haven't grown up. Like I don't quite feel like an adult. But then again, my friends back home say that they don't either. I'm like, well, you have 3 kids, so maybe you did grow up. But I'm thankful for Korea for kind of being so kind to me as I figure things out. But I do expect a harsh reality check moving to the US, just because things aren't as convenient. People might not be as forgiving of me, like when I don't know things. A lot of times here, people are like, oh, she's a foreigner. It's okay. But in the US, people are going to be like, girl, you're 33. Get it together. So anyway, yeah, now it's our appointment for the Secret Garden. During COVID, we didn't need a tour guide, and they kind of kept that even after COVID. But now I think they have started the tour again. So I thought I was going to be able to wander at my own pace. I'm really hoping I can. We might be doing a Korean tour because everything was sold out except for 한국어. So yeah, we're going to be doing some 듣기 연습, I guess. And let's go. 자연스럽게 구경하자. I was nervous there for a sec, but we are free to roam, and if you want to go with the tour, you can. So I just was asked to take a group photo of that giant group of French teenagers. I heard them asking like, are the pictures good? As I'm walking away, and I'm like, shit. The pressure. Anyway, they looked cool, so. I don't know how this is gonna work if the mic is flopping around, but another question I had, at what point did you know you wanted to pursue content creation full time? And the answer is, oh, they changed the route. The answer is I didn't. I still feel kind of uncomfy doing this full time. Okay, so yeah, I quit my full-time job and I sort of thought that I would then find part-time work. I wasn't comfortable doing this full-time. I had just started my book channel. Yeah, I just was feeling very not great. It also, like, I was talking to my friend Huda about this the other day, that like I still feel, I don't know, a certain amount of guilt for being able to do this job and to like have such freedom and to be doing exactly what I love. I don't know, I feel bad, even though I know that like I am giving back more, like I'm giving back more value doing this than I was sitting at my desk like making Facebook ads, you know, for my startup. So I don't know, yeah, I just have a lot of guilt to work through. Like a lot of my family are doctors. I'm sort of like, what am I doing with my life? I am not saving lives. But you know what, not all of us are, and I have to remember that. But anyway, yeah, so I never thought I was going to do this full time. I just sort of fell into it. I just kept doing it until I'm here now. And yeah, I'm still like very open to picking up projects. I honestly really miss, not necessarily an office atmosphere, but like working with other people and like seeing people during the day. That's something I miss. I would love to work like in a cafe or a bookstore or something. Like that's definitely something back in the US I would really like to do. I'm not sure about Korea. But yeah, so to answer that question, never planned on it, still don't feel comfy with it, and yeah, that's that's me. But now we're at the secret garden, like the true hidden back garden. I think this was in a drama recently. It's in a lot of dramas, but it's so beautiful. They changed the whole route. I'm so lost. This is gonna be a real adventure for us, but the gardens are huge, and we can only walk on a certain little path. Anyway, that's my story. Let's see where this path leads us, I guess. I just walked through Seoul, which, like, again, a neighborhood that was not what it is today. Even like a year ago, I made a video about it. I'll link it down below, I think. But I went there, and literally like the next weekend, it wasn't my doing. It was, you know, the only reason I found out about it was because it was already getting big. But yeah, after that, I think it's calmed down, but when it first got really popular, it was like too much. But anyway, next questions pertaining to work. One question I got a lot was like, if you weren't doing this, what else would you be doing? An honest answer is that I think I would have been just like working in a company. Like I'm the kind of person that I enjoy stability and safety. And so I think I would have just continued to work in not my company, but like in the role and the like career trajectory that I was on. This was a complete accident. I don't think that I would have basically had the balls to make a career change. I think that people who are able to do that are so brave, and it's just not really how I work. So yeah, honestly, I probably would be still just working in like social media and marketing and not feeling very fulfilled. So I'm glad I made the change. In an ideal world, I would be working with books in some capacity. Maybe I would have tried to find my way into publishing, but I don't even know if I would have. Like the only reason I really have the time to read as much as I do is because I have the job that I have. So had I continued to work in a really toxic work environment, I don't think I would have been the crazy bookish person I am today. Which leads me to the last question before I cross this very dangerous large street, which was someone asked like if I felt comfortable, could I share more about how I got over my toxic work environment? And honestly, time, but also talking it out. I was amazed that my coworkers on other teams didn't realize that anything was amiss. Like, even though they were suffering because of this crazy person, they like wouldn't talk to our team about it because they thought that we all got along so well and we were all friends, when in reality we thought that they were getting along with him so well, and so we didn't want to talk about it, you know? So once we finally like sat down and talked about our problems, and we realized like, oh my god, all of us were suffering in different ways but also similar ways, and just realizing that it wasn't our fault. And yeah, if you want to know details, I will link the video down below as well. I talk a lot because I think it's so important, especially as more foreigners, sorry about the wind, especially as more foreigners come to Korea and get jobs that aren't just teaching jobs. Like, I think a lot of people know the horror stories of being a teacher, but working in a company, you can get taken advantage of in a whole nother set of ways. And I think that you can, like, that can happen to you even if you're not in Korea. Like, this was the job that I'm talking about was my first job out of college, and I think that this applies to anyone coming fresh out of college, and especially people who are like people pleasers and just really want to do a good job. Also, to just see what a slippery slope some of this stuff is. Things in the beginning were just a little off, and then they became so off. Glad to be done with that, let's just say. And I think that I gained a lot, I learned a lot, yeah. But hopefully I could do the learning for you so that you will not go through that. Startups all across the world, but specifically in Korea. So anyway, we're gonna walk to Seoul, which is a really cool, I think I've talked about it in a video, but it's a really cool marketplace. They built it so that you could do like your living, your shopping, your eating across like a massive, I think it's like 8 city blocks. It's something like a mile, I think, without having to deal with the road. Like it's that thingy, it goes over the roads and over the Cheonggyecheon and stuff, so you can just walk in basically like a carless city, this tiny little thing. So yeah, now they're bringing it back. There's some cool stuff in there now. People still live there. But yeah, we're gonna walk around and then I'm gonna sit, grab some food, and we'll continue our chat. Hot today. I got a sandwich. I was walking by and I didn't realize I was hungry until I saw a picture of that sandwich, and I was like, you know, time to stop. So very excited. So this doggy juice is filled to the absolute top. Let me have a little sip. Oh, I thought that this was an interesting question, and it was, do you think having a camera person could improve your footage or your videos? And this is something that I think about a lot when it comes to my vlogging style, because I know that like 안녕하세요. 인사하고 싶어요?
저런 것도 있네.
네, 너무 작은 카메라 있죠?
잘하네.
아, 네.
어디서 왔어요?
미국이요.
아니 얼마나 한국에서 얼마나 살았어요?
10년
그러니까
됐어요.
이런 것도 있네.
네.
아, 참 세상 좋은데.
네. I'm not surprised that he stopped, because this is a very like still quite like a gadget place. This used to be, I mean, this is also a neighborhood for like porn, but it was a lot of cameras, a lot of stereos. It still has a lot of these like mechanical things. So a lot of the older people that have shops here are definitely like engineers that tinker with gadgets. And so I'm not, when he walked by and he kind of looked back, I was like, yeah, you want to look at my camera? Okay, let's finish up before I eat my sandwich. Let's finish up the work section of this Q&A, because I feel like I'm talking so much. Okay, really quickly. Do you plan on ever retiring from YouTube or just posting less frequently? Yes, I think about it all the time. I don't think that YouTube is a stable job. I don't want to do it for the rest of my life. Absolutely not. I think my book channel, definitely. I could do that for the rest of my life. Absolutely. I love seeing older people giving book recommendations. That's why I love the book community, is you really see all walks of life on there. For my vlogging channel, I would definitely love to continue filming whenever I'm traveling, for sure, but I do think that vlogging my daily life has definitely, it's had so many positive impacts, but it's certainly had negative impacts, and I don't want to do it for like the rest of my life. I know that I talked about this early in the year that I wanted to cut down on how much I filmed just because it was starting to feel heavy, I guess. But then I don't, because I know that I have people who say like, oh, I've been watching you, you know, you're my Sunday breakfast companion for the past 5 years. I'm like, I don't want to stop and, you know, leave you guys hanging. So I just need to figure out how to make calls that are good for me. It's again with that guilt, I think. I don't know, a lot of responsibility, and so it's rough. But yeah, I don't plan on doing it for the rest of my life. I'm going to eat this massive Korea just makes the biggest sandwiches. It is shrimp, a hell of a lot of lettuce. So I'm gonna eat this and see you very soon, okay? We're right there. I don't think I've ever been this close to an egret or a crane. I'm gonna let you do your thing. I'm gonna go. Wow. My mic is not connecting, so we're just gonna talk really fast. I'm at the Tunggyecheon, just hanging out. I feel like I can answer my friends and family questions here. I had a really funny question that was, someone asked, what about your wedding celebration? I remember you wanted one, but COVID happened. That wasn't me. I don't know who that was, but Kurt and I never really planned on having a wedding or anything. Another common question that I've answered before, but gotta update you. How did you meet Kurt? How did I meet my husband, Kurt? At work, boring. We made a movie night club at my apartment, and we just realized that we liked all of the same things. And we just started talking and we never stopped. And here we are. A lot of questions about pets. Will I get back into fostering, etc. So if you don't know, it's been a really long time, but I used to foster dogs. I used to volunteer a lot with the dog community here. Fostering in our new apartment, no dogs allowed. Or if it is, we have to pay like $300 a month extra to have a pet. We're waiting to adopt a dog once we get more settled. So probably when we get to the US. I don't want to force a dog onto like a 16-hour flight. Also, yeah, it's just a stressful thing when you're fostering dogs. You never really know what their behaviors will be and stuff like that. So even when we had Mop, who was like the most incredible angel of a dog, it was still a little bit stressful. Yeah, so we're just like not in a place literally because of our apartment, but also just like mentally. It's a big thing. I miss it though. I really loved fostering dogs. So I hope to get back into it someday. Lots and lots of questions about kids. Do I want kids? Why haven't we had kids? Some people asked in a really nice way. Some people asked in a really rude way. So I'm not interested in having kids. Neither Kurt nor I are really interested. I've said it a lot before, but just for people who are new, I would feel much more fulfilled as an aunt. A lot of my friends and family are having babies, and I'm so excited for them, but I'm excited to like be there, like in their lives, but not raising them, if that makes sense. I feel like my kind of mothering instinct or like my caring instinct doesn't pertain to like one child I would have like my own. Yeah, just like I love working with young people, but I've never felt the urge to have my own kid, if that makes sense. Love kids, don't want one of my own, and Kurt feels the same, except he doesn't love kids. He hates kids. And final question about friends and family. How's Louie? Louie's great. Louie, when my parents moved about 2 years ago now, they had to get a new vet, and their vet is actually Korean. And so he speaks to Louie in Korean. I think he watches my channel, my vlog sometimes. So hi Dr. Jung. Yeah, he speaks to Louie, who has gone completely deaf. Louie is my dog, by the way. Like lives with my parents, but he's mine, my little brother. He's very old and he is now deaf, but that does not deter the vet from speaking to him in Korean, and it's just very wholesome and lovely. But yeah, Louie is great. He might be old, but he is so healthy. Everyone who meets him thinks he's a puppy. He looks like a puppy. He's the best. He's the best. Yeah, that's it for friends and fam. My camera is also dying. This is literally my first time ever using this camera, so I'm learning how the battery works, how the mic works, etc. So thank you for dealing with me. And then how about we head home since my battery's dying, and I've got random last questions that didn't really fit into one particular subject. So anyway, yeah, let's go home. Hi there, checking in, obviously much later, had dinner. I also may have just witnessed a UFO. Kurt does not seem very impressed by it, but there was a light, really bright, out in the distance on like the typical flight path, because we can see the airplanes from our house. And then as I was watching it, it slowly went out, and then it just hovered there, like it was very dim. And now it's moving very slowly. So, just want to say that. Just putting that out there, okay? So this video is really ridiculously long. I feel like I answered all of my Q&A questions in one video. So I have a bunch of random ones. I'm gonna try and answer them as quickly as possible. I'm gonna try not to embellish. I might delete some of these. Thank you for submitting your questions. I'm just a chatterbox. So, have you ever thought about going back to university to study something else? Yes, I'm actually very seriously considering going back to get a master's in library science to, when I move to the US, possibly work in a library. What was your hyperfixation that shaped your life apart from reading? My Chemical Romance, and I would also say K-pop, actually. And someone also asked, related to that, would be, are you going to any MCR dates? I am. I will be at the Philly show and the Newark show. Other hyperfixations, I would say The Tudors. I was obsessed. I feel like every girl went through just like general disaster phase, like shipwrecks and stuff like that. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Like, I'll probably think of something else in a second, but I'm trying to be quick. So, My Chemical Romance was really the one. Best book I read recently, I just finished The Raven Scholar, which was really fun. If you're looking for some high fantasy, don't read it for romantasy. Oh, I'm currently reading a book called Someone You Can Build a Nest In, and it's really weird. It's kind of like if if T. Kingfisher did her typical funny romance, like think Paladin's Grace or Clockwork Boys kind of vibe, but merged it with horror, like specifically body horror. It's a love story between a monster and a monster hunter, but the monster is described in these ridiculous ways, and it's gross. But it's so fun. So that's actually what I was reading today, and I'm really enjoying it. Is there a reason why you've never traveled to Southeast Asia? So, I have traveled before I started YouTube. So I've been to Singapore probably a million times. 5. I love it. But for other places around there, I went to Singapore because I have a lot of friends there. But honestly, both Kurt and I don't really like hot weather, so it's a little difficult to go to Southeast Asia for that reason. We're not really tropical people. However, my list for multiple cities in Vietnam, multiple cities in Thailand, is just insane, and I'd really like to go. So I just need to figure out when is the best time. I know that there is never a cool time to go, but is there a time when the weather is the most bearable for a delicate gal who grew up in gentle California? Would I be able to survive? Let me know and tell me where to go. How do you stay positive with the world steadily going to shit? Okay, I was thinking about this recently. This is so bad, but I was just thinking about how far we've come from like the medieval times. I was reading a book set in the medieval times, and I was like, wow, there were so many peasants that like really had no rights, like no rights. So in a way, I was like, oh,
I mean, we have more than the medieval peasants, and that kind of helped me for like a hot second, and then it didn't anymore. But I do think that the shittier it gets, the louder people protest. And so even people who usually don't speak out about political things are now saying things. So it gives me hope in that sense, but I also had that hope during the first Trump presidency, and look where we are now. So I just try to take it day by day and appreciate the people in my life that, or in my virtual life, that are like supporting others and being vocal. And yeah, I'm hoping that this radicalizes some people in a good way, please. But yeah, no, I think it's also very valid to just feel like shit, because it's pretty bad. A lot of questions. People have a lot of fears about traveling without knowing the language already. You'd be really surprised. First of all, Korea, English with like a little bit of planning ahead of time, like just so you know what you're getting into, so English friendly. I would even say, usually I only say like just Seoul, but nowadays, any major city, I would say, so English friendly. So don't be scared. For other places, I'm lucky in that I do speak English, and so a lot of people also speak English wherever I go. I try to learn the basics of everywhere that I go, at least like please and thank you and where, how much. But yeah, I think that you will be surprised perhaps at how little you might speak to people during the day. I actually kind of want to make a video about the Korean words I use every day, and you'll be surprised that I use about 5 phrases over and over and over and over again. So yeah, you might be surprised by how little you actually need, and we're all humans, and I feel like people like to meet you where you are. For the most part, you'll find a way, especially with nowadays with like all these translator apps and stuff like that. I feel like that if that's your only fear, you should be traveling. If you're scared of other like safety issues, okay. But if you're just nervous about language, do some planning ahead of time and be less scared. Oh my gosh, this one is another one that I want to go on a tangent. Oh no. Has any travel experiences felt like spiritual experiences? And so when you say spiritual, I don't know if you mean like closer to God, but I think of closer to spirits, like closer to ghosts. I definitely like tingles up your spine kind of things that have happened to you. I had it so much when I was younger, specifically when I'm closer to nature. So I went to horse camp when I was little. Definitely when I was like in the woods. We hiked through the woods at night multiple times at horse camp. I don't know. I had a really weird experience in Venice when I was walking alone, and I saw someone kind of vanish before my eyes, which was really weird. Just generally being alone in old places. London always gave me the heebie-jeebies. Avesbury gave me the heebie-jeebies. Yeah, I've had a lot. I haven't had it recently, and I feel like I need to kind of get back into that, not to be kind of woo-woo, but I don't know, I used to be a lot more sensitive to vibes, energy, whatever you want to say, and I kind of miss being creeped out. So yeah, okay, and then the last question is, could you say hi to my girlfriend Trude? It's Norwegian, so I know that I'm not saying it right. Hi, how are you? Did you watch to the end? I hope you did, or I hope your boyfriend did. So, what a great way to end it. So yeah, I'm so sorry that this video was incredibly long. I just had such a nice day being outside, seeing all the people. So I'm gonna fix my posture. I'm like hunched over trying to talk to you. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Let me know what you think of the camera. Sorry about the mic issues. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for submitting your questions. Sorry that this was like movie length, but I do these like once every 2 years. So see you in 2027, and I hope you're all doing well. If you want to answer any of these questions, I always love learning about you guys, so let me know something about you. What's the best book you've read recently? Tell me your spooky travel experiences. I live for these things. So yeah, have you had a weird spiritual encounter? Leave it down below, please. Okay, I gotta go check on my UFO. Out of sight for now. I hope this gets to you before the alien invasion. Okay? Bye.